What's up? Pick Central on a Wednesday? I think it's kind of thrown off more ways than one. But Wednesday, January 3rd? 3rd. All right, yeah. So we covered the NFL towards the end of it, I guess, last night. But I guess we can look at kind of big picture type of stuff. Off of last night, I know I saw some highlights. I know the Celtics Oklahoma City game was pretty high intensity. Yeah, Oklahoma City's like a sleeper, I guess, in the NBA.
They're the 2 seed right now.
Yeah, I'm locked into college, but I do know they've kind of put it together. It seems like everything's working. This Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is apparently a superstar.
He's been a superstar. He's legitimately I think he's at the point now where he's
somebody dumped him early though, right?
The Clippers did. Yeah. The Clippers. He legitimately
to get who? Kawhi?
Paul George.
Okay, that makes sense.
But he's at the point where I think people have recognized now how good he's averaged like 30 points a game last year. He did it again. He's doing it again this year. He legitimately is a top 10 player in the NBA. I'd say like easily.
When was it? Like 2 years ago, they were trying to tank and they were having problems because they were playing like really.
Because he just is so good. He was like basically stopping them from tanking.
Don't they have like a ton of picks?
I think.
And then
they've set up so
they've
well.
had like Chet Holmgren's play. He's playing awesome. Probably the rookie of the year.
Dort.
Like Dort's been really good. Giddey has been a good player. He's got some more stuff to worry about now, but he's played well on the court.
Yeah, but I also think that they could it's weird with NBA free agency. Like we get, we're setting in the Stone Age of like you got to go to Chicago and you got to go to New York and you got to go to LA. Like guys can be super. The biggest superstar right now is in Minnesota and
Denver,
Milwaukee. Milwaukee, Minnesota's Luka. No, Minnesota's Anthony Edwards.
Dallas
is still that's big, but Anthony Edwards is in Minnesota.
The Timberwolves are the 1 seed. It's crazy.
Anthony Edwards is over there too. So like you can go somewhere and make it. And also like if you're the Thunder, you could be like, hey, before these guys kind of went their separate ways, we had some stars here. We developed talent. We got Russ, we got KD, and we got Harden, and that would have been a powerhouse over there. So I'm interested to see if they can make a trade.
Actually,
go get a superstar. You don't want to break up the picks.
Going off you saying that, Reeves actually had a great analogy I thought today. They're the Orioles,
right?
They have a ton of incredibly they have a great core of young talent.
Yep.
That I think I thought he said it perfectly. He's almost in a spot where they shouldn't make that big trade. Like they should just try to instead of hemorrhaging kind of the talent they have, they should just try to keep building around it. Because all their good players are 26 and under. It's crazy.
They have the Clippers' unprotected first-round pick this year, but they also have it in 2026. And that's not counting other picks they have. Those are just unprotected.
I think they should just keep building around Shai Gilgeous and Chet and these guys, and I think they could potentially organically become a champion.
They have Philly's
down the road.
2025.
And those Clippers picks, because Philly has, I think, the 28 Clippers pick right now, unprotected. They can really be something. Because this Clippers team is going to get blown up within the next 2 years.
They will in the next 2 years, but they're playing well right now.
They're playing well right now, no doubt about that. But this Clippers team is going to get blown up within 2 years.
The're old, for sure. They're old.
They're old, and there's going to be a lot going down.
They have Houston's number 1 pick. It's protected 1 through 4.
Why do you say it like that? There's a lot going down.
Well, what happens to James Harden every single time he goes?
Oh, that makes sense too. Yeah.
It's a big honeymoon right now.
These guys are coming. Everybody can feel it. You can feel it last year and now. They have Chet back playing healthy at a high level. OKC's coming in. They're loaded with talent. Extremely well coached. Yeah.
Steve Kerr said that the first week of the season.
Yeah.
They're legit, man. They got a bunch of guys.
It's like Steve Kerr knows basketball.
That's
incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Knicks are in a little bit of a simulation. We've kind of built organically. We still have a ton of picks. So it's exciting when you do that.
Well, actually, we didn't even talk about the
could you guys talk about that?
What?
Oh,
yeah.
I was very surprised.
Walk me as a Knicks. I'm not a Knicks fan, obviously. That trade on paper didn't make as much sense to me as I would have liked for the Knicks.
I think so.
What was your takeaway?
I didn't at first either. I was very surprised. I think it was one of those things where I think quickly we didn't extend quickly. I think we were far apart on money. And I think they didn't want to invest more money into Quickly's really good. I think they just wanted more defense. And I think they wanted to get I'm a big RJ guy. I've been a big RJ guy. But I think they thought he wasn't going to become that third piece of a championship team, that real
Right.
He's a very good player, but I think they were looking for him to be a top 30 all-star type player. And he's not quite there. He's still young, so maybe he could do some things with the Raptors. But I think with OG, they thought more pure shooting, defense. And I think that's more what they were looking for, to be that, like, maybe he could fit that role as the third piece. And I think they were trying to move the money around. It's like they knew they weren't going to pay quickly. I think they wanted to maybe get RJ's money off. Like, I think they already extended him, but then they paid him a lot.
And they obviously the plan is to extend Obi.
Yeah, I would think so.
I know he's in a walk year. I guess that would be my concern as a Knicks fan.
I guess it's weird because I do trust what our basketball people at the Knicks are doing right now. For the first time in the last few years, they've made like sound decisions.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to trust what they're doing here, and that they realize they weren't going to be able to pay these guys. And they thought the money would be better allocated to someone like OG.
Yeah.
So I'm cautiously optimistic.
Clemmer, important note about OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
He's a CAA client, obviously Leon Rose connection, and one of his agents is Sam Rose, the son of Leon Rose. So I'm very confident that they'll work out a deal.
So let's say they do extend him. If that does happen, are you then happy with the trade? Was that a good trade?
As not a Knicks fan, I think that the biggest takeaway I had is that they're committed to Thibodeau. Like, they're committed to Thibs.
Yeah.
Like, because that is such a Thibs guy. Like,
Yes.
That trade made a lot more sense to me. RJ also hasn't had. I think they really needed him to step up this year, and he's kind of played like shit, in my opinion, to start this year.
If you're asking me who fits our roster better, OG Anunoby fits this roster
Yeah.
so much better than RJ, just off a pure defensive standpoint. The guy was all defensive second NBA last year.
But what if you don't extend him?
We'll extend him.
Yeah, you signed that. It's kind of like who was it? Sweat on the Commanders that went to the
Yeah,
Bears.
when
Like,
you
know
make
you're gonna
Right.
yeah.
And
Quickly they
a
knew
week
they
after
weren't.
that trade, they locked him up.
Quickly they knew they weren't gonna.
And I looked it up just because I wanted to make sure the exact money. Like, they just unloaded RJ's contract, which is like 4 years, $107 million. And quickly, it's like basically a free agent after this year.
And,
so the money works out where they have freed up some money.
Evan, also, do you know what just happened yesterday? Embiid sold his penthouse in Philly.
You know,
I've been to that penthouse. Penthouse.
Embiid
You ever been to a bad penthouse?
Embiid,
Fair
CAA
point.
client.
Actually,
his,
yeah.
his former agent was Leon Rose, Knicks GM.
Hey, he's
so-
a family. He's going out to Jersey. It's all right.
I saw this tweet when the trade went down. Malachi Flynn, he was a guy at San Diego
Yeah.
State, but
great player in college.
Meth. Oh man.
Oh, no.
I did like him at San Diego State.
yeah, I just thought it was very
good.
fun.
He was
Yeah.
very good.
The Knicks still aren't done. Like, they still have like 8 tradable first-round picks to use.
Yeah, that's true
Like,
too.
I wouldn't be surprised in a few days if you see them get like a DeJounte Murray or a Malcolm Brogdon, who's.
I've been
you know,
hearing
those teams
the
don't
Murray hype starting to get stronger.
I think it's very likely because they already said they're gonna have like a peace treaty with like clutch clients basically. So like, hey, well, we need your guys on our team.
Him and Brunson and Murray would be a nice backcourt. Really nice backcourt.
I think Murray's a bit overrated of a defender, but that could just be a fit issue in Atlanta.
He's big and long. I like pairing him with Brunson as like a smaller guard.
Real quick on Embiid. He's not going to the Knicks now, which is lovely because of that trade. But what Embiid's doing, last night he put up 31 points, 15 boards, 10 assists, and 31 minutes. He's putting up MVP numbers in like 3 quarters this year. Like, they're not load managing him, really, which is one of the things that everyone was concerned with Nick Nurse doing because Nick Nurse like kind of runs people on the ground. Because Embiid and the Sixers overall are playing so well, he's only playing like 3 quarters. And he's still putting up fucking unbelievable stats. He has, well, the stat held true last week. I'm not sure if it is now. But he has more points. He had more points than minutes played.
Wow.
Jesus.
That's crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. For the Knicks, it seemed like quick. But actually, I think more so with Barrett, it just seemed like they kind of
He still does, by the way, Smitty.
maxed out. Like, it was what it was. You know,
34
like,
Yeah, I just think they didn't think he was going to get to this where they thought at one point he was going to get to.
yeah. So,
Who's
but
the
yeah.
best player? Who's the better player? Like, as of today, Zion or RJ?
I mean, Zion's better. Like, obviously when they're both healthy,
Zion.
Zion's better when they're both healthy.
Zion's more upside.
Sure.
Zion's playing better right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Now that he's on the court, I mean,
Yeah.
when he's on the court, because the joke I was made just he didn't play, so obviously you'd rather have RJ averaging like 18 and like 5 and 5.
So really, it's a
Guy that's
durability
playing.
But it's a question that has dated back since the draft, and
Well,
the
yeah, that's-
concerns with Zion were always there. It's could he stay healthy because of his size and the way that he jumps and the way his explosion, like that was always a concern. I remember like arguing with Knicks fans. Like one of my best friends is a Knicks fan, and he was like, RJ Barrett is going to be KD 2.0. He's not.
Well, he
breaking
came
news.
in. Yeah. I mean,
But-
so the story coming in was RJ was number 1 into that class, and Zion was 2. And at the end of it, obviously Zion went 1. So there were concerns like, did RJ play his way out? But technically, if you look at it, that might have been, again, why like Krzyzewski towards the end, like, should they have been crafting the offense around a guy on the perimeter instead of the guy on the post?
Yeah.
That's an age-old question.
Plus also
Zion was a beast in college, so it's like
the hype behind. I mean, we don't have Duke Boy here, but the hype behind Zion coming into college was unbelievable.
but RJ
the fact,
was-
well, that's what I mean. The fact that RJ was
1.
number 1.
yeah, it's crazy.
Zion kind of came out of nowhere. People like forget that. No, he did. Like his sophomore year, he wasn't in the top like 15 recruiting wise.
Yeah, but weren't highlights of him going around when he was in 7th grade?
Yeah, like 7th Woods. You know what I mean? Of course, but recruiting wise,
Yeah,
he
okay.
didn't explode and be like, wow, he's going to be a top pick until his junior year. And honestly, my favorite clips going around YouTube right now are the ones of like Anthony Edwards being like, who's the best player? Who's the hardest player you've ever guarded? He's like Cam Reddish. Like everybody in that class says Cam Reddish was the best player.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to TikTok, do yourself a favor, just look up like Cam Reddish highlights or players talking about Cam Reddish. It is fucking.
He was on that team too, right?
Yeah,
He was.
but
See,
he's,
that's what's crazy.
they put him as like a spot up shooter when really, if he went somewhere else, I still believe he would have been like
Yeah.
a top 5.
I mean,
Yeah,
they only had one ball. They
Yeah,
had Zion dominating.
exactly.
They had Barrett dominating. Cam Reddish was kind of like,
He just had that shot against Miami, that like really solidified.
Yeah.
His like,
I mean, I remember when people thought he was going to just be like Kobe.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
he like came out, people were talking like he was going to be like, I'm dead serious.
you know what I'm talking about, right? Like
No,
Cam
when
Thomas.
he was like out of high school, when he
Yes,
came out, people
yes.
thought he was going to be like the next guy.
Yes.
like elite NBA scorer.
Yes, and you know who's kind of Cam Thomas on the Nets.
He
one
is
of-
nasty.
He's nasty.
He was LSU guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was the last era of Wade. Your guy.
they're killing it at McNeese State.
McNeese State is fucking.
I mean, they're playing some of the sisters of the poor, but he's got to get his
they,
wins.
yeah, but they also like beat like VCU.
predicted as a 12 right now.
Yeah.
Or 13, I think.
They're
So,
like top
yeah.
30 in net.
I know. They're very good.
I just want to make a little comparison for Rev here. So 2019, the Knicks drafted R.J. Barrett, average player. He won us a playoff series, and we were constantly waiting for him to take the extra leap. Does this remind you of any player from Duke that was drafted in 2019 in a different sport?
Daniel Jones.
It always goes back to Daniel Jones.
Very
Phil.
similar careers.
I was
in New
waiting
York.
for the
5 years.
RJ
wasted.
Barrett, I would argue, probably was better, more consistent.
I'm saying the
was,
parallels
but-
are right there. 'cause
How
they're
many
both from
times
the
a day
ball.
do you think of me? Do you think of Daniel Jones?
a lot.
I only thought of it just the other day, just because they were
Yeah.
the same year. Like we drafted Duke guys.
I didn't think about they were in the same year, but it's fair.
I knew Daniel Jones wasn't the guy when I saw him at the Gem Saloon. No Giants quarterback should be next to.
I knew he wasn't the guy the entire time I watched him in college. He'd complete 55% of his passes. Motherfucker.
Yeah. Also, the NBA playoffs, like I was looking at the pick, the Warriors are way out of the race.
Yeah, they're like 500.
They're 16 and 17. They're 11 seeds. So I mean, with the playing game, though, no one's really out.
Yeah, but
To
it's
be
like the
really-
whole, I don't know.
Unless you're Detroit.
They're like this now, though. They don't like.
It's hard for me to care about the regular season if they don't
Yeah.
care about the regular season.
Exactly. I mean, what was it? I mean, we talked about it before. The on the road last year. It took
They
them,
were horrible on the road. Yeah,
like,
horrendous.
25 games to win a game.
Yeah.
Also, they're in the spot. Draymond just suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about
They're just like Draymond's just been out for like a month.
Has there been any update on that?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Or is there?
Yeah,
is
you
there-
guys want to know? He was spotted at LeBron's party.
Oh, that was I did see
How
that.
funny
but
is
yeah.
that? Yeah.
He was at the club.
Indefinitely suspended at LeBron's party.
This is why I said the Warriors should blow it up. This is what I was saying.
This was
Why?
the chokehold thing? I can't even keep track.
Well,
No. It was the chokehold, and then he punched the guy in the face.
But they have
Maybe on the
to make a
Suns, maybe it was?
statement about it soon, right?
Remember he
That's
swung,
like
he swung
Nurkic.
around.
He punched
Nurkic, that was
Nurkic in the
Nurkic,
face.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. This was after the chokehold?
Yeah.
The choke was
But Silver has
was
to
like a
say
week apart.
something soon about that if
He's-
it's indefinite, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
How many games did he miss? At least like 15, probably, right? 10, 15 at least.
He's
For sure.
He's an enigma.
20?
He's an enigma, man, because he's so smart, and you watch his clips, and he obviously has his basketball knowledge is like high level, but man, he's an asshole.
He's already missed 18 games this year. Now that's he's played 15. They played 33.
I also think his offense is obviously declined. Like he's not an offensive.
It's definitely declined for
You
sure.
think-
Yeah, like he's not in a position anymore where. Like they could replace him, so it's weird that he's like. I guess he's getting a free pick because he's a leader.
They
He
did
was on
literally
those
ju-
runs to those
they-
championships, but it's like
They just re-signed him too.
I know. I don't.
So we're saying blow it up.
I'm not saying that.
I am.
No, I
Evan
think
Clemmer has said that.
I don't say
Stand by
blow
that.
it up, but
Draymond for Jordan Poole, straight up.
I think you keep the two. You obviously keep Clay and Steph, and then figure it out. from
Everyone.
there.
Everyone.
Crazy.
Jeez.
Kill your darlings. Trade everyone.
To make
So
the playoffs.
Wiseman was a surprisingly bad pick.
They won't even let you lay the Detroit Pistons. No, they won't even let you lay it, and they won't even let you pick Denver to make the playoffs.
Same with the
Yes.
Celtics.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, Warriors are making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I might lay on that right now.
Why do we
They're making the playoffs.
6th seed.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's, play in whatever.
All right,
They're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Plus 105.
Yeah.
They're making the playoffs.
Yeah,
Now,
they're
does
gonna
that-
make the playoffs.
does
They're gonna
that
win a
count?
series.
When
Now-
did the Warriors win? They won 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not last year, the year before.
Guys,
knocked out
guys
the
get old
Lakers.
quick.
But last year they were in the same sort of situation. You need to earn it coming in. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does that, when you say make the playoffs, are we talking about making the play-in game, or is that
You
making?
have to win the play-in
Yeah.
game.
So that I don't know. If that's definite for them.
I mean, they're definitely a team you would not want to see in the playing game.
Yeah.
The only teams behind them, though, here's why I think Smitty's right that they are going to make it, because the only team behind them that has a real chance right now is Utah. So like
Utah's behind them.
Utah's 15 and 19.
Wasn't Utah good?
Golden State's four
They,
games
they
back from the
They
6th
started
seed.
good last year. They ended bad.
This is
Last year they started hot.
You just,
Memphis, Portland, and San Antonio have no chance of catching Golden State. So
Golden State's 4 games back from the 6th seed.
wait, Memphis is a complete disaster. I know
11
Ja
and
was
22.
obviously out.
But they're a team that, because Ja just came back, they wouldn't shock me if they went on a run and at least got into like the
Memphis
bottom.
was
maybe.
what, a 2 seed like 2 years ago?
I know they started so badly,
when
but
was Memphis a 2 seed?
And they were playing better without Ja for a while.
yeah,
they, had
they were in the playoffs last year,
season
right?
Before, yeah,
Oh, this is.
they won 50 games back to back, and
I
now they're
can't
11 and 22.
I just think with Ja coming back, because he literally just came back like this past
It's just
week.
so tough that you
just
win
so-
10 in a row, you're still not 500.
so
I think it wouldn't shock me with 50 games if they could go. I don't know. They go 10 games above 500, get back like at the end of the playoff picture.
And maybe
Because they've been very good the last few years, and he's one of the best players in the league.
that's fair.
Do you see they were roasting our account about posting his he did like the gun shooting thing into the crowd, and then Quinn Ewers did it in Texas, and like most honestly it was very funny. Like our caps was like trashing him and then like praising the white college kid for doing it.
Yeah, but all right, I'll stick up for the social team really quick. One guy had a lot of gun incidents, the other guy didn't. Like,
No, it's fair, but it was just very. I just read it. I was like, this is classic.
If you're looking
just
at
get our-
it out of context,
for 100%.
Yeah,
I
then
needed to speak
It's
up
like
for the
like,
social.
like
Yeah.
black guy with dreads. It's
yeah,
like
Dukes.
no,
Yeah.
like white guy good.
And
White guy just having fun. Like
if you really want to have a chuckle, go look at the replies. They're just fucking phenomenal. Just like they hilarious.
well, Ja replied to it.
yeah.
He that was funny.
What did he say?
I think I
Just
forget.
crying emojis.
Yeah, just basically being like classic, like
Oh yeah.
like just media companies like
yeah,
trashing me
for
and
fun
like
with
just like praising the other guy for doing it.
I'm trying to find the Grizzlies record. Okay, Grizzlies record. This is 6 days ago. I know they started off 4-0 with Ja. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know
had a
what they are
buzzer beater
now.
his first game back.
Yeah. He dunked on Wemby last night. I
That
saw
was crazy.
they were 7 and 22 at one point.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They started off like
Yeah,
1 and 12.
horribly.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's so good. I think most people have forgotten with all the off the field.
Dude, they were doing bad. I didn't know they were doing that bad.
People have forgotten how good of a player Ja is with all this off the court.
Western
shit.
Conference. It's amazing living on the East Coast how much little Western Conference basketball you can watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One of my favorite teams is the Rockets.
Yeah.
They have a
Oh
ton
yeah,
of picks too,
Jabari
don't they?
Smith, right?
Yeah, but
With
like
him,
not,
they have Van Vliet, Dylan Brooks.
Alpern Sengun.
Yo, he's a stud.
He's a stud. He's like the next Joker.
I was gonna say he literally is the next Joker. He's incredible.
And Amy is just talking his shit.
Yeah,
Like fun
I don't know.
team
It's
to
just hard. It's hard for me if you don't care about the regular season.
I like that Dylan Brooks is making a comeback.
Yeah.
People legitimately thought he was
Already
going to be
hates
in like
him,
the
yeah.
Shanghai Sharks. He got an $80 million contract.
Yeah. Well,
Great
yeah, that's-
defender.
Basketball.
Yeah, it's
But it was just funny. People they're like, oh, he talks shit to LeBron. Like, you ship him out of the league.
Yeah.
I'm like, guy, he's going nowhere.
What's fascinating is, and granted, it's
Getting a raise.
it's 12 people on the bench compared to what NFL roster's 53.
Yeah.
Pay discrepancies between the two.
Well, yeah, of course.
Wild.
and the NFL is making a boatload of money too. Like it's yeah.
Like Gary Harris made more money than like the
Oh,
Mutombo.
dude, go back and look.
I mean, that one year was like that one year when the cap went up like for the first time big. I mean, there were guys like backup point guards where it was like 4 year, $50 million was like the standard.
Yeah.
Chandler Parsons. Like he said something about the Josh shooting incident, like the the celebration, and he said something like, "Come on, you can't be doing that." And like all of Memphis Twitter was like, "Shut the fuck up! You can't talk after that robbery."
Yeah,
Like,
he got 2 like big contracts that he played like no minutes
Yeah.
either of them.
yeah. You know who's fun also? To just the Pacers.
Pacers are like the most fun.
That's my favorite team to watch. I have League Pass purely for them and Obi.
Them and the Bucks have played, no joke, 30 times this year.
No, the Knicks and the Bucks have played like
Yes.
30 times too. It's ridiculous.
and every single time, the over-under is the highest it's ever been.
It was 261 the other day. A total 261 and a half or something like that.
Insane. I remember back in the
Crazy.
90s, you'd have the Knicks play the Heat. It'd be like 73 to
Oh,
68.
Yeah, it was a war.
And it's also hilarious because they have Carlisle. So like he had a quote being like, "Oh yeah, like is it awesome? Like having the most fun scoring
Who's Carlisle?
offensively. If was with the Mavericks.
Where's he with now?
He's with Pacers.
Pacers.
These guys just have life.
So they have-
that, like.
So he
He's
has.
with the Pistons.
They have an all-time.
Lenny Wilkins gonna get a job soon again?
I mean,
Lenny Wilkins is still alive?
Carlisle's not that old.
I don't know if
He's
just
not that.
Saying it's
There's
like,
no way Lenny
Carlisle
Wilkins.
isn't really
He hasn't
bad.
coached in 20 years. And he's
I mean,
all-time
guys just
leading,
have a
like, coach.
fucking day.
I mean, Carlisle was with the Mavs forever. They were awesome forever.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then
but
he just went
like-
to the Pacers.
Yeah, but then they live again. Yeah, it's like
He's an old school guy at this point, but he was talking about it like, yeah, it's fun to have the best offense of all time, but when you can't stop a nosebleed on defense, it gets very frustrating. It was just like such a 70-year-old coach
just
thing.
climbed-
Like,
yeah.
Lenny Wilkins is still alive. He's 86.
That's it?
for Lenny.
like how many years was George Karl like sticking around? You know what I mean? Like these guys are legends. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
they're around
Carlisle's
just
not
a
even like that
long
old, I
time.
don't think.
George
Low
Karl's
cheeks.
dead.
I don't know. There's a bunch of George Karl's not dead.
No cheeks.
George Karl's
Hey,
not.
Larry,
George Karl alive.
Larry Brown
72
got
years old, George Carl.
Larry Brown got roll up there real quick.
Yeah.
He was head coach at SMU.
Yeah.
Dude, he was on like fucking
He
every
could do
college
basketball.
roster, every NBA roster.
Yeah.
Carlisle was on the
Put up
Celtics, Larry Bird. team.
Crazy.
He's 64.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's
but
not that
yeah,
old.
you know, NBA, I don't know. NBA regular season. It's a wild ride.
He's the oldest coach of all time.
For baseball, Jack McKeon was 80. Connie Mack was 86.
Wow, you can't.
He owned the team,
You
though.
can't be whipping out Connie Mack here.
Well, you ask who the oldest. You'll do this all the time. You'll say who's the oldest ever. I tell
saying-
you the oldest ever. Then you go, you can't do that.
Well, okay, within
All the fucking time.
within a generation.
You need to say who's the oldest this century or something. So then it
Okay, the
qualifies.
oldest
Who is that?
The oldest in the past 100 years. I think that's fair.
Connie Mack.
Larry Brown? That's
That's-
Larry Brown.
that's
Connie
Larry
Mack,
Brown.
1936.
1950. He managed until the late 40s, early 50s.
Wait, so Larry Brown was there before Dean Smith, or was Dean Smith there in 65, 67?
Only coach ever to win a national championship in college in the pros.
Yep.
Larry Brown?
Yep.
Hold on.
Kansas.
Oh, he won it with Kansas.
Yeah, and
That's
the
a hell of a
Kansas
resume.
and the Pistons.
Oh yeah, he's a great coach.
Danny and
Larry
the,
Brown was
Danny
incredible.
and the Miracles, yeah.
It's
Look
a
at the way
shame.
he ended it. Look at the way he ended his career.
I know. It's a shame that the most infamous Larry Brown story is the Sixers had an opportunity to draft Paul Pierce to put him up with Allen Iverson, and the scouts wanted him, even Larry Brown wanted him, but he promised Larry Hughes and Larry Hughes' family that if he was there, that Larry Brown would take him. Imagine Paul Pierce and Iverson.
I like to imagine with
Pretty
Kevin
good.
Garnett when I'm in this,
Yeah.
the Garden watching them win a title.
And it's like what? It's like what? And that just came out like 3 years ago.
That's tough.
I used to love in the AI documentaries that like him versus like Larry Brown's stories, which is like button heads.
Yeah.
Because he was saying they were like, even though obviously they were like very similar. They were like it was like a Jewish guy from like Brooklyn, this kid from like the Hamptons, whatever, not Hamptons, the Hampton, Virginia, but that they were just like the same guy kind of at the same time. Interesting stories between the two of them.
Mixing up the Hampton, Virginia, and the Hamptons. is-
Well, I said Hamptons. I was like, I don't want to. Let me not
Yeah.
confuse anybody. Not the Hamptons.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Different Hamptons.
Crazy. We get into the NFL. Anything else stand out last night? Caitlin Clark. I know people are getting confused by that buzzer beater. I see a lot of replies that like Peacock's clock was off.
Way off.
Well, that is confusing.
Yeah, it
was
is. It
confusing.
is.
You stop it. The orange on the backboard hadn't went off.
Also,
yet.
but the orange was on the back was really close. Like it was like starting to almost. It looked like. I mean, you really slow it down. I was like, but regardless, she's the best women's basketball player in college ever.
the sound of that just whap was
Well, they put a mic in there.
but the
way-
purest I've ever
The
heard.
way she even shot it.
Yeah.
Didn't
Like
even-
just
Step back.
step back from like
Step back from the
30
parking lot.
It's
like 30 feet.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
she's the best. She's just the best college basketball player ever.
Definitely.
Fact.
I have an issue with Peacock, if we want to get into this for a second.
Yeah.
I'm really upset about this, and I imagine people are going to be too. the first round playoff game, that Saturday night game, is exclusively on Peacock.
Oh God.
I don't actually know why everyone's complaining about all this stuff.
People
Because
just
now
don't
we
wanna
have to
buy
go buy Peacock for one game.
Peacock's
have
great.
it.
Fuck Peacock.
I think honestly, you just gotta have all. That's what it today is.
Yeah,
you just
gotta
have
have
to
all.
the apps. 'Cause
I've
I
just
have
accepted
everyone.
it.
So why don't we just go back to what it was with cable? We're paying. I feel like I'm paying more with all these things.
Well,
They
that's
fucked us.
That's
And
how
we
they-
all went along.
that
for
was
the ride.
that was their plan, Clemmer.
Yeah, no shit. And everyone bailed off cable. I know.
We had,
Marty,
like,
you love
3 good
cable.
years.
I'm a cable guy. Like,
I
and
need
you know,
cable for just to have it for some sports. I need it.
You need it live.
yes.
I also still,
This is bullshit.
maybe it's old man, the scrolling of a movie being on TV.
Oh, I still do that 100%.
You know,
Nothing wrong
a
with that.
marathon of like late. You know, in the summer when there's nothing on TV2, you watch one baseball game, you put another over there maybe.
I seen the
Whatever.
town on TV sometimes.
Agreed. King
all
of
the time.
Queen of Queens. I'll watch 4 episodes in a row.
All
Like
that.
Dude, there's nothing better than hotel cable. I love scrolling
not
around. in
much,
hotel.
though, man.
I know, but
It's
it's
slim
nice when-
pickings,
I
yeah.
get mad because they don't have all the channels I have at home.
No, I know, but when
Peacock.
you're in a hotel, it's because sometimes
Peacock.
at home you're not watching.
Yeah, Peacock, not great, but yeah, she's unbelievable. I mean, and again, it's like this is now the culture. Like this would have been a player who's too reckless, out of control, bad shot selection 10, 15 years ago, and that is completely out the window because of guys like Steph and Jimmer, and the game has evolved.
She lost.
Even Carlisle, he can make a comment about defense, but as it goes, like, yo, you got to score. That's how it works.
I want to be in. Would love to be in the first basketball meeting where an analytics basketball nerd tried to explain to like a Larry Brown, like, hey, like threes work, or taking high percentage 3 shots are good, and him just being like, no.
You kind of
I mean, remember the-
Moneyball a little
No,
bit. Like
no,
the
mid-range
baseball
jumper
version.
from the elbow.
Right.
I mean, do you remember the
No,
infamous the Charles Barkley quotes about when the Warriors first got together? They were like, jump shooting team will never win a championship. They had a dynasty.
Dukes. I'm
He was
mistaken.
Barkley, and Barkley knows more basketball forgot more basketball than we'll ever know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was saying that like blatantly, like no chance they're going to win shooting jump shots.
Dukes is bringing up old Larry Brown hate for me. Bruce Bowen was on the Sixers, a big-time defensive guy.
Yeah.
All the Sixers needed during the Iverson years, or one of the pieces, was just like a steady three-point shooter. That's it, a 3-and-D guy, just somebody who can consistently shoot the 3. That's it. Larry Brown said, no, you're not shooting a 3. You're just playing defense. Don't shoot. He goes to San Antonio, best three-point shooter in the league. Shit, best three-point shooter in the league.
We were taught for so long you needed a center. Like even when Kobe and Shaq broke up, people like Kobe's never going to win again because he needed a center. That's what people thought back then. Like that was just the mindset.
Yeah.
I need to. I tweeted something last night of someone else's of someone else's ticket, and I did not mean to make it mine because you see a ticket of the guy who bet 20 to win 16 grand on Washington to win the finals, and
Lamar MVP.
he was from a different place of gambling, so I didn't want to quote tweet it, and I was like, and I don't know what I just wasn't thinking, but do you agree that betting a future is like deal or no deal when we were talking about it yesterday? It literally is like, oh, the
100%.
bank came back with this offer today,
Right.
and all right, the bank this, and you're like, but would you take that bet or no?
No, because Washington, the money line's only 165.
I'd probably
Like
hedge. I'd probably hedge the shit out
I would
of it.
hedge it in Michigan. I think I'm in a better spot with Michigan.
So how much would you bet?
$5K seems too low.
$20 you bet for?
Well, yeah, no, it's,
but you could
it's
win-
obviously nice, but you
Lamar
can
is
win
going to
16.
happen, so that's
Yeah.
It was done. Yeah.
right.
Mikey
That's basically
Calabrese.
Lamar hitting the $5 grand off of. Like
So-
it's-
It was established that he said he spoke with his wife and they're just going to let it ride.
yeah, he commented on. Yeah, he's like, we're just gonna let it go.
Huh.
Well, I think it just all depends on your financial situation.
Exactly
Also-
right.
No, he
Like
said,
there's no like correct answer. I think it's all about where you're at financially. How much does that $5 grand or 20
Mean to you.
grand mean to you?
I bet there's some statistical nerds out there who can study variance and
What Ev said is the most important thing. Like,
Yes.
if I was 24, that $5 grand would mean the world to me. At 44, maybe not as much. Like it all depends on where you are in your situation.
But he said also that he's going to wait for like the first quarter and see if he can.
That's smart.
That's interesting.
If you could get Michigan as a dog, it's like if they go down 7-0, and you get Michigan like plus money, that's a very sharp
Yeah,
play,
he said
smart
he could
play.
kind of. He's like getting a little greedy too. He's like, I can win. I can middle it. Like I can win both.
Yeah.
Well, no, see, because my sick brain goes, Do you take Washington plus 4.5?
Well, that's what I exactly was
And do you like have your if you lose the bet you could lose the ticket and win the bet, or you can just win both.
Nightmare though, but
Or you can just win both. Or Michigan wins by 10 and you just lose everything.
You hope Washington goes up 10-0.
Yes, correct.
And then you're sitting
for
on
sure.
Michigan again.
Because that could easily happen in the first quarter.
Potentially.
Even if they
One
just
broken
drove the
play.
first
Yeah,
drive
agreed.
and
Yeah,
just
agreed.
go up 7-0,
Agree, even
you could
so.
probably get like close to even money. I bet.
Yeah, I don't think they would. I think their books would still wait to put Michigan with a plus sign in front of it. But
I think 7-0 it becomes like a pick 'em.
yeah,
Yeah, you could.
Maybe Michigan minus like 1.5, something like that.
Washington could, look, realistically, could go up 10-0 in that game and lose 27-13.
right.
Sure. Correct. We forget that TCU last year I think was either up 7-0 or 7-7,
Against Georgia.
or was 7-0 against Georgia.
Yeah.
And then ended up 65-7.
Yeah.
Or like 10. They were within a score like 3 or something.
Like
Like
the
that.
Patriots Bears Super Bowl back in the 80s.
I know when they scored it was either tied or like it was very close. They even had the lead or something, and then they
Patriots lost like 46
lose
to
by a
3.
million.
And they scored they kicked a field goal. They're up 3-0. So for a second, the Patriots were winning the '86 Super Bowl. Oh man! And then got shut out the rest of the way.
God damn
Crazy
it.
too. All right, let's touch NFL. Oh, they got a double. We got a
Wait,
double header Saturday.
I want to congratulate you
Again.
on Baylor. That was a good pick.
Oh, yeah,
Great
good
pick.
pick.
That's
Great analysis. Great pick. Worked out exactly the way you said.
got fucking hairy at the end, to a degree. But they scored 58 in the first half and then had like 12 in 12 minutes in the second half, which was weird. But you're gonna get that over break, and they're kind of bored, playing with their food to a degree. But that camera angle is preposterously high.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, super high up.
Preposterously high. Duke's is very high, and Oklahoma State's is too high.
Duke won by 20.
Yep.
Easy. Jared McCain, I told you this guy's fucking. Have you ever seen a team go 0 for 9 from 3 in the first half and then 8 for 8 in the second half? That's what Duke did yesterday. It was fucking crazy.
They were on fire there for like the middle of the second half. They were on
They could
fire.
not stop.
Yeah,
like,
from the
hitting
10-minute
groups.
mark on.
What do you say?
He said in 10 minutes.
10
Like,
minute
so
mark.
I agree. Like the 10-minute mark on, they were just
It
unconscious.
was crazy. Yeah. Syracuse is. It's crazy. It's not like that. It's just such a different team without Jim Boeheim, and for the better, honestly.
And they have some like Judah Mintz is good. They have some good
They have
players,
some good
but they're
guards.
just
turning the ball over too much. Like Duke scored like 30 points off of turnovers
yeah,
yesterday.
they just smoked them in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I look at
Filipowski had 0 points in the first half too. Like that's how they shut him down.
Syracuse is almost like the chicken and the egg, because like all you know about Syracuse is Boeheim. So I'm wondering if, and it wasn't necessarily a power. It was a really good program. I would say like top 25 in terms of consistency over the 40 year. Yeah, top 25, top 30 of like consistency, because they were always in the mix. But now like, do guys want to go there?
They got to reestablish an identity.
I still think
That's really what it is.
Syracuse
Great
still
take.
has a little bit of that, but I also
You're playing in front of 50 grand or 40,000 in front of that dome.
yeah,
is
and
a
you're
big
always
draw,
going to get
and
to,
people
like,
care about it.
knowing
but-
you're always going to play Duke and UNC as well is I think helps, but also you're so right. Like they were never dominant, Syracuse. Like obviously they won with Melo, but like they were always like an 8 seed, 7 seed. That
They were
like,
fighting the.
They were always
they were
just
always
they're always dangerous in the tournament.
They were
That's really what
almost
it was.
always on the bubble.
So
More years than not, it was Syracuse
recent-
on the
the
bubble.
end of those Big East years, they were dominant. They were 1 seeds.
13 and 14.
Like 08,
Yeah.
09.
I think I'm saying more.
That's not the
recent-
end of the Big
more
East.
No, but from
recently,
like 08, 09 to 13, 14.
No, 08 and 09, they were on the bubble.
I mean, I don't know if it's the exact year that they were on the bubble, but they were like number 1 in America. Them and Pitt were like dominant when I was in like 5th grade.
I think you're mixing
Johnny
up.
Flynn.
I think you're mixing up the years. Yeah, Johnny Flynn. No, they were were
That
good
was
that
an
year, but they were not a 1. In 09,
was
I
09.
think they were a. That was the year they won the Big East. If I had to guess, I'd say they were a 3 that year, 3 to 5. I think they might have been a 4.
They definitely. He is right. They had a nice little run there for a minute, like in.
In 05, they were a
2000s,
5.
early
In 06, they
2010s.
were with McNamara, they were a 5. Or in 06, they lost. In 04, they lost to. No, I'm sorry. 05, they lost to Vermont. 06, they had McNamara. They lost to A&M. It was a 5-12. That was the year they won all those games in the Big East. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things like the identity. You know what I mean? Like,
They gotta find the new coach. They gotta find their thing.
are they? I don't know. Yeah.
They gotta find who they are.
Like, do we see a lot of guys going there?
2009 to 2014, they were 3-1-3-1-4.
Okay. Yeah, they had a good run there, and then but you could do the 5 years after that, and they were fighting for their
ACC's
life
been a
again.
disaster.
Yeah, they haven't been great.
ACC's been a disaster.
I think they're on the streak. They haven't made the ACC semi since 2014 or something like that.
Which would make sense. There were
Love
3.
this
Like
shit.
that's the end of the Big East. They lost their identity with the Big East, losing the.
Well, you have to
leaving the Big
memorize
East.
the list now, but
Love
you can't make the
that.
conference
Who was it?
semifinals.
Paul, we were saying that about.
Paul's the worst in the country. Yeah, it's DePaul and Rutgers.
Also,
Bad.
I saw a stat during the game with Duke yesterday. They have 1,200 straight games with the 3. Do you think they'll ever not get that? 1,200 straight.
That's
with the
wild.
3.
At this day and age, it's hard to imagine them
Yeah.
just not making a
They'll
single
ever
three.
stop, like ever not.
Because they're going to shoot like 23s a
At least
game.
20. They're gonna hit one because they were 0 for 9 in the first half, so that's why the stat came up.
You would remember
And it was
this,
like-
and it's not a knock on your age. Dana Barros had the record in the NBA of like a ridiculous streak of games in a row with a 3,
Oh, yeah.
and he didn't have any. And then the Knicks pulled a bunch of shit at the end of the game and kept fouling, and it got, I think, a little heated. I remember my dad telling me like about the situation. Obviously, I was in bed, but did that almost break into a fight?
I don't remember that exactly. I remember Barros' records. Tommy Hines would be like, boom, Barros! Like, Dana Barros was a big, because the Celtics teams were so bad. That's all we had was
Yeah.
Barros.
Oh,
No.
Dana Barros put up a 50 burger for the Sixers one time.
Did he?
Yeah.
89 consecutive. All right, so like try to Google how the streak broke.
Doesn't Curry's got to have
Well,
the,
yes,
the
I
record
think-
now, no?
Well, it just
I
got
think-
broken.
I think Duke can.
Dayton guy stopped it. Not even kidding.
I think Duke can do it. Obviously.
I think they can never. I think they might. It might just happen for the rest of our lives. Like it might never stop.
I just couldn't see them
Shoot
not
so
making
ma-
a
They
single
always are
three.
going to shoot.
They shoot a
threes.
ton of them
Like,
always.
At least
Yeah.
I've said at least 15.
In this
50.
incarnation of basketball, it'd be
Yeah.
hard to see it snap.
Yeah. Unless they start just.
Do 68.
So the record was what? It was like
80
80
something? Yeah, well, I mean-
68.
89 games.
Crazy.
Back in the 80s and 90s, people hit a 3. It was kind of a big deal.
Honestly, I knew it ended recently.
That's crazy.
When did the 3-point line?
79, 80. Yep. That's basically when I was born. I'm alive as long as the 3-point line's in the NBA.
The only thing funny was how quickly he answered it.
What about college?
I don't know that.
Because college was after, right?
Might have been before. I know like the ABA was before, right? NBA took it later. Didn't the NBA steal it from the ABA?
Yeah.
Here you go, old man Clemmer. If Pistol Pete Maravich had a 3-point line, how many points would he have scored?
I don't know. Before my time. I was, remember, I
I
am
mean-
younger than the 3-point line in the NBA.
I know. It was before my time as well, but he was putting up ungodly
Crazy.
numbers.
And he was known for his crazy shot. Yeah, I think.
before a
How
3-point.
about Larry Bird? I mean, imagine if, because I know it was always there, but it wasn't used a lot. Imagine how many more points Larry Bird would have scored if they used the 3-point line more.
He wasn't just.
I'm just saying. I mean, he would have had even more points.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm always going to defend Larry Bird.
Larry Parrish.
All right, NFL doubleheader Saturday. Steelers against the Ravens. Ravens have nothing to play for now. Clinched the 1.
Right.
Steelers need to win and need a bunch of other things to go for them.
Not that many things.
They need to win and they need like 2 teams to lose, or 1 or 2 teams to lose. I think it's not nuts.
Lamar's not playing, correct?
No, I don't think so.
Why would he?
That's one of those weird games I almost would still bet the Ravens with the points.
3.5 right now.
Even though because they're at home, even though they're not playing a lot of guys.
The Ravens.
It's just one of those weird where you're gonna have even some of the backups you have, they're gonna play loose, free, play hard.
Their back is pretty good.
And, yeah.
I mean, for a backup.
Yeah, and they're not gonna play like all backups. And then you have the Steelers who are like fighting for their lives, like tight buttholes. I mean, just in there.
Wait,
just,
so
like,
explain how the Steelers can get in. The Colts and Texans play each other,
Right.
and they're both 9-7. So one of them wins. They're 10-7. Steelers go 10-7. How does it? They need the Bills to lose.
I think they need. It's
No, they don't need the Bills to lose. It's less defined than that. It's like easier to get in that. I'll look it up.
yeah. I know they just need
I
to
know
win.
if
They
the
need like
Colts
1 or
win
2
there,
teams. They need to win and 1 or 2 teams to lose.
Okay.
So I know it's Colts. It's and then the Jags play somebody. Jags play.
So their easiest path is Jacksonville can lose as long as the Steelers win.
Oh, so Jacksonville loses and then somebody steals that division.
Or Buffalo loses and Steelers win. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So as long as Jacksonville or Buffalo loses and they win,
I think the Steelers lose this game.
Yeah, I think.
I
they'll
kind of
win.
that's
they have to win. Obviously.
Who's the Ravens' backup?
They lose.
Hundley?
Oh, he'll fuck around and win.
Huntley's like
He's not bad.
Yeah,
won a playoff game last
Yeah.
year. Was it last year?
almost did.
Yeah,
They didn't win.
but it was I'm saying almost. It was close.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
close.
They fumbled on like the 2 or
They
something.
fumbled on the goal line and got ran back for a
Yeah,
touchdown.
like, they were right there, and also I don't know. There's weird. Steelers are just like the whole thing with Pickett was weird, and he obviously said like I obviously did not say I wasn't going to back up Rudolph or whatever. Did you see that whole thing?
Well, they had the quote where they said, "What have you learned from the sideline?" He was like, "Nothing."
Yeah,
You saw that?
Yeah, I also kind of agree with
Which
that.
I didn't fault him saying it. He just was like, what have you learned from like sitting on the sideline watching like Rudolph or whatever? He's like, not literally. He just said
What are you
nothing.
gonna learn? It's like I don't know what you say. To
It was a blunt answer for sure.
Be honest, I guess.
yeah,
But he's in a weird spot now that he's healthy and they're just like not playing him on purpose.
and he said
He's a healthy scratch.
I mean,
strange.
technically, you kind of have to play.
Rudolph's on fire.
Yeah,
There's
I know
no
you
way
do.
you can't.
2 games in a row, he's played awesome.
But they lose this game. I think Rudolph.
I kind of think so. That's what I'm saying. I think this is where
And then
the crash
Steelers are
is.
going to be 9-8. They got there over their
Yep.
500, and they don't make the playoffs.
Ravens money line is plus 150 if you feel that strongly.
I think I do because sometimes, especially the Ravens want to spoil that.
I'm going to at least take the points. Probably they're getting like 3 or 4.
3.5 right now. The over-under is 36.5 on that one.
So, it's in Baltimore.
Yeah, I know, and like
A grind. They're even have been half backups. They make that an ugly
the
game.
Steelers are technically playing a backup. Like that,
Yeah.
they're playing a backup too.
Right,
Game, ugly game, but the Steelers put up 30 last week.
Huh?
Steelers put up 30.
30 the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other game that night is more interesting and hope probably more competitive.
Texans Colts. That's a big one.
That's a huge one. I mean,
And they're both fighting for their lives.
Talk
Yeah.
about Sunday night's game yet?
No.
No.
Did you see who's reffing? The Lions crew.
No.
Oh,
Lions
no.
Cowboys crew is
No.
reffing the Sunday night game.
Oh, that.
How crazy is
They
that?
got banned from the playoffs already.
They got demoted from the playoffs, but they're reffing
Doing the biggest
most,
game.
biggest game.
one of the most important games.
How's that possible?
It's insane.
It's crazy.
How stupid are like just move them. I don't understand how that's
Have them do Pats Jets. What are we doing?
have them not ref.
Even better.
That's that's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
Actually
I
unbelievable.
thought it was a joke, and I kept looking, and I was like, "This is real.
Bro,
I
that's
can't believe it." And you know some bullshit's gonna happen.
It is so crazy. The Bills could either be the 2 seed or just not make the playoffs.
Is it crazy for that? Like, is it?
Yeah,
How
the Bills will make the
I
Bills.
understand they.
We just said if they lose and the Steelers win, they just be out.
No, it's not
No,
that
it's
simple.
more
Is it more than that? Okay.
It's
What would
gotta
be the fix?
I hope, because that's correct. Because I got that future, and that's crazy.
What would be the
Probably
fix
it'd
in
probably
that
be them
game?
to lose and then.
So
probably
here's
one
what
of the
happens. So the Bills will make the playoffs if any of these things happen. Buffalo wins, obviously. Pittsburgh loses. Jacksonville loses. Or Houston Indy tie. So you would need
It's not that.
Houston Indy tie is not going to happen, obviously. But Jacksonville losing or Pittsburgh losing gets them in. Or if they just win. So you have 3 different paths.
Not that crazy. Like they could
3
lose and them to win is not like the craziest thing in the world.
And
get
they're
it,
both
right.
favorites,
Yeah.
which the Bills are favorites as well. But
Right. But
it wouldn't be. It actually. It wouldn't, if you think, it wouldn't be that nuts if they lose. Well, their game's last, so it's gonna be weird.
Correct.
They'll know what's going
They'll
on.
know, right.
They could have clinched a playoff spot in theory
I hope-
by that time.
if Pittsburgh and Jacksonville both win, that game for
Game's
Buffalo
over.
becomes.
I'm saying then it becomes literally 2 seed or you're out of the.
or you're out of the playoffs. Right.
You're literally like having home field till potentially besides the AFC Championship game.
Right.
Or you're just out.
We all
That's
agree
nuts.
that Bills take that.
I think they will, but
I would. They're 3-point favorites on the road.
Crazy. The way they've been playing, the way Miami's been playing, how do you not make the Bills favorite? Well,
No.
and they already
Bills,
played him.
like,
They played
have-
him and won by 4
Bills
touchdowns.
played.
Yeah.
People aren't talking about, like, and the Bills played god awful.
Horrible.
God awful. Like Josh Allen was awful against Patriots.
well, the Patriots are always going
The Bills.
up,
The
but
Bills don't.
no matter who's
They
playing.
don't play well against shitty teams. They just don't. They play
Yeah.
down to their level.
They look like shit against the Chargers.
Yeah,
I ask this
know.
question:
They look great against the Chiefs.
why are the 49ers favored against the Rams? And what the fuck do the 49ers have to play for?
Well, the Rams don't have to really play for anything.
Rams have
Rams
nothing
are
to play
in?
for. Rams are in.
They're in.
I didn't thought the Rams.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're like locked.
The Rams will
locked
rest
into
more
where
people than the
they're at.
Niners because the Niners have 2 weeks off. Rams will only, you know what I mean? They'll have 2
Yeah.
weeks of
Yeah.
nothing. We keep talking about that Jacksonville game. I want to go back to it for a second. The Jaguars at Titans. Jaguars are favored by 5.5.
That's such a scary game.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
That is a classic Mike Vrabel game. Like
100%.
dogs, nothing to play for.
At home.
But besides spoiler,
Yep.
like you said, at home, get I'm saying he'll get the defense up for that game. I
The
think.
rookie quarterback that like was.
And Levis, yeah, he was playing hard. Like
Well, Levis got hurt the last game. Is he going to be? Will he be able to play?
that's a good question.
I think
Actually,
he's supposed to. I
he looked better than Tannehill did when
Yeah,
they
the
were
Rams
in the
are
game.
in. That's my bad.
Oh, this is also a Tannehill game if he has to play.
For sure.
I think it might be a Tannehill game. I mean, Levis
See them 100%.
Like, I almost feel more confident with Tannehill than Levis, even though long term, no. And does Tannehill deserve it? No. But Tannehill come in, and then everyone starts talking again. Oh, Tannehill still has some life. Might come back next year. That's a Tannehill move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. I think people got to be out on the Tannehill journey. It was a fun run.
What?
He already resurrected from the dead once. Had a nice little run, made some money. Had a stretch that he can look back on and be that he was a respectable, good starter for a minute there.
Fascinating man and career.
Ooh.
He was a receiver in college.
Yeah, he was a receiver in college in Tannehill and became a quarterback
He was a receiver
in the NFL.
Yes,
Yeah.
A&M.
Jesus Christ.
And during
for his first 2 years.
And during
For
Hard
2
Knocks,
years.
he didn't know the NFL. He didn't know who was like in the AFC South. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Don't pay attention.
There's athletes like that are interesting sometimes.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like you're just like that dedicated to like just playing every day. They don't like watch the
Just
sport.
don't care. Yeah. Some of them just don't care.
It helps him out in some
You
aspects.
could.
Some of them are just good at
You're
it.
not like starstruck by anybody. You're kind of
it's
just like
their job. And that was the knock on like Kevin McReynolds, the guy outfielder for the Mets. It was just like his job. He was really good at it, but he's like, I don't really care.
Who?
Kevin McReynolds. He was
really good.
He was pretty good. He's like he'd hit like 25, 30 home runs every year, and like he didn't give a shit. He just go home and be like, I don't
What
give
year
a
is this?
80s, late 80s,
He's whopping 30 home runs every
Yeah,
year.
no big
25. He's pretty good.
You never heard of him?
deal. I heard of him.
You heard of him? Well, you're a Mets fan. Yeah.
McReynolds? Yeah, I've heard of him.
McReynolds, fairly no player. Jacksonville, if they lose that game, where are we with Trevor Lawrence? They'll be 9-8.
Same way I've described it. He's in line for the club. He's not getting into the VIP
I don't know
yet.
if he's even that close to the club.
Maybe he moved back a little bit.
he has not been good.
I'm very disappointed.
He hasn't got enough shit this year for just not being that good.
And people forget, if he didn't fucking pull a miracle out of his ass last year, he would have been out in the first round of the playoffs too.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, this is the stuff I keep talking about. Do I think he's great? Yeah, but
I'm interested to see if Doug Peterson is going to get any heat if they miss the playoffs.
Should.
Good question.
Yeah, he'll get some heat, I'd
I
imagine.
don't think he's.
I don't think he
on
gets
the hot
fired,
seat,
but
I think that he should get some heat. 'cause
He came in to basically develop Trevor Lawrence and showed some flashes last year, but
Trevor Lawrence taking a big step back this year for me.
Yeah, and that roster on paper is
oh yeah,
good. Like
Better.
It's definitely better. But I'm saying like it's like he has weapons. They got Ridley back this year. Like ETN's a great
stud.
running back.
Yeah.
Like they're just their defense is. How's their defense been this year?
it's been like decent.
like
decent
okay,
enough.
right?
Probably like middle of the road.
There's no really excuses for them this year. I know Lawrence was banged up a little bit, but I don't know. He just hasn't taken that next step.
No, and I saw one stat like when Christian Kirk isn't playing, his stats drop like
Oh yeah,
the
I
basement.
saw that.
Because
he-
Kirk's been hurt. He finally.
Right.
I think he just got designated off IR.
But I think he still needs like 3. He's not going to play this game.
Well, he has a 21-day window that he can play.
So do we think he's going to play this game?
Maybe I'd say it's. Yeah,
the
well,
new Warzone map came out, so
oh, yeah, that's right.
the interesting thing to
Him
me,
and fucking Chase Edmonds.
looking at the standings of the NFL, do you know how many?
Chase Edmonds is awesome.
It's going to change, obviously, because some teams can jump up. But do you know how many teams right now are 9-7, 8-8, or 7-9
It's crazy.
out of the 32?
It's like 20.
No, not that many.
I was gonna say like 20.
15. It's half the league.
15 is a lot.
Yeah, 15.
Half the
20
league is just right there.
Mediocre.
Just parity.
And then there's the Jets.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And the Giants.
Like, it's every year.
There's a lot of also
6 and 10, man.
draft implications this week too.
Like huge.
Patriots can also beat the Jets, which will move us up. I think we're gonna be 5 or up.
Dukes, do you want the Patriots to win or lose that game?
Win.
I'm-
100.
I'm really torn, personally. I really want to shove it up Belichick's ass because I hate him so much. But it's better for the Jets to lose that game.
We're kind of in a position. 6 wins is like, what are you like 8 right now?
Or the 8 pick, yeah.
8.
You're top 10. It's like after you get top.
We
Yeah.
can fall out of the top
Four.
10 with a
I
win.
think
5.
it's 5. After 5, it's all you can. Kind
You still want to beat.
of course you want to, but I feel like
I
6.
think after 15 it gets a little.
I actually am. If I get 5 to 10, I'd rather just potentially trade back.
Also, the Giants are live this week, as are the Commanders. I think.
Well, I'll give you one. They're a favorite,
more alive.
so it's not necessarily live. But tell me why the Raiders minus 2.5 is not one to love.
Are they playing?
Broncos. I don't know if the Broncos can make it. I think they need a million.
No, they're out. They're
They're
out.
completely out. All right.
They-
So
I mean,
Russ Wilson out.
But I mean, they benched everybody. Granted, it was the Chargers, but they just won.
I don't know, man.
And
The Raiders
covered.
have been playing hard for this fucking guy.
Stidham didn't look
At
that
home.
bad. I mean,
He wasn't like. I mean, they scored like 13 or whatever, 16.
he didn't
mean,
look.
they're
But he
bad.
wasn't like completely inept. I guess.
I don't know. The Raiders, though, they just seem like a team that fights around that coach last game of the year.
Playing for
they
that
could-
coach
Their
too.
division
don't-
rival, yeah.
yeah.
Minus
I
the
mean,
2.5. I hate the Broncos, obviously. The Broncos were like, oh, they're kind of back just because they were so bad last year. I still think the Broncos aren't that good. I like a team who wants to fight. The Raiders,
I really like that coach.
I like the Raiders this week.
I don't.
I don't hate that play.
It's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't hate that. Yeah, I
Raiders
like
are also
Pierce.
been like that frisky.
Yeah.
They're kind of not that bad team.
Dude, if Antonio Pierce doesn't get that job, there's something wrong.
I think he will.
They are forced.
I hope so.
He
He will.
really deserves it.
Unless they got like Belichick or Harbaugh or something like that, I think you have to.
They
So
s-
let me just say this. I agree with you guys, but McDaniels was 3-5. Pierce is 4-4. It's
Oh,
not like it's
100%.
been that much.
I think
of
it's just
a-
like
Yeah.
the culture has changed.
yeah.
Like they're-
I agree.
like, I feel like they just want to play for him. They're also doing with a 4th round rookie. Like
Going into Kansas City, beating the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you talk about Fields, whether you trade him or not, or finding a spot? Would Vegas be a spot that would take a look and be like, all right, we don't really know where we want to go with our quarterback?
What do they do with Garoppolo? They still got to pay him that money.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's a great. I think it'd be a good fit for them.
Unfortunately, probably trade him to the Patriots.
Garoppolo back.
Full circle.
Oh, Jesus.
I love
Would
that.
Belichick stay?
Just do.
Imagine that
Whatever.
interaction back. It's like,
Also, chat said that the crew is not reffing the Sunday night game. They're reffing Steelers Ravens.
they changed it.
They're reffing Steelers Ravens. That's almost as bad.
well, it only means something from one team, but that
Still, like I said, put him on Pats Jets. Put him on fucking the Raiders game we're talking
Or
about.
just don't put them on. Like, why?
Right.
They don't have enough refs. Where the fuck is that crew? But it is what it is. Anything else jump out in terms of the NFL? Do the Bears live against the Packers spoil that party?
I think so. Yeah.
And
Bears are
also,
playing good
Justin
ball.
Fields is trying to like rally everyone around him for this.
Big Cat said the Bears are playing better than the Eagles. Are better than the Eagles right now.
The second half, since Fields came back from the injury, they've been playing really well.
They just
Sure.
are.
Packers favored by 3. They're at home.
Yeah,
We want
I like the
Fields.
Bears.
We want
Second. I wanna
Fields.
just-
We want Fields.
You know how people have been talking about Mahomes?
That was the crowd chanting, not me.
Something came across my
Justin-
desk. Something came across my desk, and I know that Marty has talked about Brady. This is just
Huh.
stat that I found.
I saw this on Twitter.
It's obviously cherry picked, obviously, but I did think it was interesting. Just given how the narrative surrounding and Brady has had down years when he was 28 as well, so I will point that out. But I did think the narrative surrounding Brady last year to Mahomes this year was interesting.
I will say though, Mahomes has like, no receivers except for Kelsey. where
Brady never had stars.
Oh, 45. Yeah, Mark Evans.
He never had stars, but I mean,
mean,
well,
that's-
first of all, Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
Yeah, Randy Moss.
Also, that's
Randy Moss later in his
we're
career.
highlighting him.
And Wes Welker and
Yeah.
Edelman in that
But that year, right?
Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer.
That's
Like,
my
what are we
bad.
talking
That's
about?
my bad. That year he did have
Yes,
stars.
yes,
He did have stars.
100%.
That year he did have stars. That's my.
But also, Smitty, going back to your point, when he got Randy Moss, he also had like the best season of all time.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And before that, he had
He had Wes Welker and
Troy Brown as
what
his
was
number
crazy-
one.
Right, and also Deion Branch was
Branch.
catching 13 balls in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but who's Deion Branch without Tom Brady?
right. When they went and traded for Brandon Cooks,
know,
I-
Nobody is fucking arguing against Tom Brady, dude.
I know. I'm so fucked up in the head that when I hear this shit, I'm like, I just go forward.
We all agree Tom Brady's the greatest,
Yeah.
greatest football player ever. He's the greatest ever, dude.
No, I know. I just
Probably
locked
never
eyes
have
with
to bring
Smitty like
his
this
name up again, we all
motherfucker.
agree.
But that's pretty interesting.
Him winning the Super Bowl in Tampa solidifies
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I saw this on Chiefs Twitter actually. Going back to the no receivers point, it can't be that Mahomes has nobody or Rasheed Rice is a star. Like I see that. I don't know why I'm on Chiefs Twitter, but I see them being like Rasheed Rice is going to be like, or Rashee Rice is going to be like a star in the NFL, but then they're like he doesn't have anybody.
I mean,
So,
I think
like,
he's just that they're trying
yeah,
to say
you have
like,
him and you have Travis Kelce. It's like
Tony, it's the Andy Reid effect, man. You don't have like A+ wide receivers. You
Definitely their
never
best
have,
receiver.
besides Tyreek Hill and T.O.
they're just.
for a hot
I
minute.
think those are fans are just like saying like Rice is something positive to look at.
Yeah,
in
he's
that
having a very good rookie year.
wide receiver group.
Yeah.
Like the rest of them are so bad. Like,
Lot of
there is some
drops.
drops.
Kelsey hasn't been playing great either.
Kelsey's been horrible.
No, he has not been playing well at all.
But it's also easier to cover him when there's no one
He's
else.
doing
to
it
worry
right.
about.
Exactly.
You said he had. Was it Meek talking? Oh no, it was Frank. Oh, what am I Meek saying that both Kelsey brothers might retire at the end of the year? How it's all set up for that?
I don't think Travis Kelce retires.
That would shock me.
You know how old he is?
He's in his 30s. I know.
He's 34.
I think he plays at least another year or two.
I would imagine.
Ready to
Oh,
be
I
mind
think
blown?
he- I
He's
think
older
more.
than Gronk.
That is crazy.
Gronk retired
Hold
pretty
on,
early.
hold on.
Gronk was more beat up.
Hold on,
Gronk also got hit way.
He's older than Gronk now?
Let me confirm this.
I would have believed
Kelsey
that.
was born
He might be. I can see
October
that.
5th, 1989.
Gronk retired. He was 31.
Easy.
Gronk got smoked.
He just had a
May 14th, 1989.
Gronk is 5 months older.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
I
He
knew it was
had a
something
million
fucked up.
surgeries.
Or same
Also,
draft
when's
class.
the last time you've seen him get smoked?
Hey, he does. He protects himself.
He
pretty
protects
well.
himself way more. He does look a little slower, but he's still
He's
like
always looks slow.
always
though.
also looks slow.
He's
yeah.
always open.
I
Yeah,
think
he's
he
got
played-
those legs, those slow legs after those long nights.
There's no way he retires.
They weren't,
Here's
they
a
weren't in the
question.
same draft class, by the way. 3 years apart.
Here's a question:
That's crazy.
where is Travis Kelce historically if Patrick Mahomes doesn't exist? Because he did. He had years under Alex Smith, didn't he?
Where's Gronk?
But he's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. He was good. He's still really.
I feel like that's not fair because he'd be like, "Where's Gronk without Tom Brady?"
Yeah.
I can tell you what Kelsey is. He's still pretty fucking good without
Okay.
Mahomes. Yeah, 1,000-yard season in 2016, another one in 2017. I don't think Mahomes was there yet.
No, he wasn't.
I think that's why he won't retire because he has Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly, for
That's also
sure.
true.
He
Yeah.
can just stay
Yeah.
for a while and just break every.
And he can
record.
kind of do whatever he wants with the Chiefs. Like he's
Whatever he
leaving
wants.
Friday nights to stay before games. Even though, I don't know, you guys saw the clip. Andy Reid was giving him a little lip
Yeah.
last week.
Giving who some lip?
He said-
Kelsey. When Kelsey threw his helmet.
Yeah. Andy Reid's like, don't give him the fucking helmet back.
Yep.
Good,
Oh, Andy Reid doesn't curse, but
that's good though.
He doesn't curse?
Should.
Mormon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Picks tonight. Anybody got anything that stands out?
Surprised Rico didn't pile on there.
Nah, I'm not.
I do actually. I had this pick here. Jaden Ivey, over 13.5 points. I was up last night looking at Basketball Reference. I'm trying to match up who's been on a pretty good run. He's been doing pretty well lately. I guess the GM and the owner want him to play more for the Pistons. So it's at Utah. Utah's defense hasn't been great this year. So over 13.5 points, Jaden Ivey.
I'll take Providence minus the 6.5. I don't love Seton Hall. I know they just beat UConn, but Providence at home, amped up, ranked. Seems a little too easy. Sometimes the easy ones cash. I'm gonna take Providence.
But
I like Providence too.
these fucking the Big East games
Seton
like
Hall's
that.
bad, man. I don't
They're
love
not
Seton Hall.
that. I mean, they beat UConn. You can't say they're bad.
Providence is every game at home they won by 10 plus,
100%.
and they won them all.
They've been
I like
unbelievable.
Providence.
You can't say Seton Hall's bad.
I don't think Seton Hall's very good.
They beat
Yeah, they got
one of
a
the best.
big win out of UConn. They got a big win out of UConn. Haven't looked great the rest of the year.
I agree with you with the 6.5.
I don't.
New Jersey Devils minus 1.5 plus money tonight at Capitals. That's my pick.
I like Providence. I like Miami at home against Clemson. I like where's Duke? I like Duke because I like Dayton tonight. How do we feel about Dayton?
Love Dayton tonight. Love Dayton against Rico's Davidson Wildcats.
Good friend.
They're catching 4.5 on the road. Yeah, give me the Flyers.
Dayton's offense is fucking legit.
Coach
You like
McKillop and Coach Regal.
I'm pretty honest about Dayton.
Are you?
Yeah, and I
mean,
love
that's me and Duke's.
I
was
love
about
this.
Duke
I
yesterday.
love this team.
You're on about Duke
They're
winning?
good.
If you-
Dayton's good.
If we
win
play
by
a strong
20+.
defensive team, I'll
See,
be like, I
when
don't
ever-
love
when is Marty? I'm not so much Duke, but Marty, when are you ever not positive about Duke?
I wasn't
Always
positive
positive.
against Arizona. Wasn't very positive about that.
Okay.
I'm pretty
Didn't
sure
you,
you.
didn't you say they were going to smoke him?
Yeah, wasn't
Oh,
that a
on
friendship?
Pretty
bet?
sure I bet that game
show.
because you told me to on this
Was it
show.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Arkansas.
I lost money because of that
I
bet.
wasn't. Arkansas, I wasn't.
All right.
But then I also did the friend bet. That one.
You also did a friend bet and we lost the Arizona one.
No, that wasn't a friend bet. The friend bet was the next one. Asshole.
I like Seton Hall
I
tonight.
got Xavier plus 8.5 at Villanova. I got Notre Dame plus 4.5 at home against NC State. I got Nebraska minus 5.5 against Indiana. And then I have USC minus 6.5 against Cal.
So I like Seton Hall. I
I have
I'm not in love with the Providence offense. I think
I
their
have
defense is
Miami.
legit.
Miami.
At home,
Miami is the bounce
the
back.
unranked favorite, bounce back.
Everyone's fucking jerking off Clemson.
They do look good, but I just think they might be too fast for Clemson. They shoot. So I love watching Miami play.
It's gonna be a really good game.
It's kind of crazy that, like, Arizona lost to a dog shit team. Purdue lost to Northwestern. FAU loses to weird teams. Like,
Yeah, that was
every
crazy.
team is losing to, like, teams that they should not.
I mean, UConn lost to Seton Hall. Yeah, I don't think anybody's untouchable this year.
Everyone's
a lot of parity. So it's gonna be a good one.
I got 2 more A10 games.
Sure.
Duquesne plus 1.5 against UMass. UMass is so fraudulent. I don't know why people are any high on them. I don't think Frank Martin's that good of a
Yeah,
coach.
they're gonna have to move on from him.
Yeah,
I like Frank.
It's,
But
and then I like St. Joe's minus 5.5 on the road against URI. It's Archie Miller. I think Joe's. It's a weird team. Their guards are elite. You don't know what team's going to show up though. So I'm going to take
I think
minus 5.5 against a very, very weak URI.
I've said
team.
this before. I was told by somebody I respect, St. Joe's is a Final Four sleeper with those guards. 3-headed monster at guards. Beat Villanova. Played right there with Kentucky. St. Joe's, if they get in, it's not a lock they get in, but very, very like pesky team in the tournament.
Yeah, but they also got their shit stomped by like Charleston. That's
Agreed.
what I'm saying. Like you don't know who's going to show up.
Agreed, but just keep an eye on
This
it.
team's got a lot of work to do, by the way. I know you keep saying all these things. Like,
They'll be all right.
they got a lot of work to do. You got to win some games against good
Yeah,
teams, you know?
conference play now.
Yeah, well, you got to win one of them.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
You were a little excited against Liberty.
Liberty's the quad 1 win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when you know you're grasping
Exactly.
to
So
some
we'll
things.
figure it out. But
I'll say it. I think Bama's Final Four this year.
they're very good.
I think they're going to have or a lead 8 run. I think they're going to be
You
very
said against Bama's
reminiscent.
Final Four.
They're going to be reminiscent to Miami.
They had a way better team for 2
Last year.
straight. Last year and with like the Herb Jones team.
Yeah,
They-
did
that was a few.
three-
That's a
that
few
was
years
yeah.
ago. That's years ago
The
now.
Herb Jones
yeah.
team, I did think was.
That's a few years
Like
ago.
last year, they had
I think they'll be all right.
the best team.
They'll be all right.
But Miami, they have the formula that Miami had.
They got
Like, if
six.
you-
They got 6 guys flirting with shooting 40% from 3,
Ohio State beat them. Deal.
Ohio
and they've
State's not
shot
bad.
like shit and
like
still
them.
maintain 40%.
Against
Ballard will be
Rutgers?
fine.
Yeah, I like them tonight.
I don't. They're laying a lot of points. I looked at it. They're laying like 9.
8.5.
I was gonna take Rutgers, but out of respect for Ev riding with Dayton, I didn't take Rutgers.
I appreciate that. I'm not betting. It's weird. Like I think they win, but it's just a lot.
All right, that's it's Pick Central Barstool Radio rocking now. We'll see you tomorrow.
Jaden Ivey.
What about Jaden Ivey?